Yes. Okay. So I'm going to put this photo on and we're going to see if you can see it, okay?
Alright.
Okay. Did it work? So I'm going to put this photo on and we're going to see if you can see it, okay? Okay, so we're live now. Okay. Let me pause this. You need to pause that. Or not pause, you need to put it on mute.
Okay.
Okay. Sweet. We are in action. My first time. I freaking did it. I'm so excited. Okay, so it is Saturday morning and we're here doing business, of course. What else would you be doing on Saturday? But I get asked questions a lot, and before I forget, one question I know I'm going to get about live streaming, I'm sure. So let's go ahead and give out a little tip, is that you want to make sure that you share your link. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I already kind of had one pre-prepared. So let's share this on Twitter and make sure it's working. So that way we will let everyone know that we are going live. So let me check and just make sure that that posted to my profile. And it should have. Cool. Perfect. So let me switch back over to our notes. And can everyone see in the chat, I hope? If not, please let me know. Otherwise, we are going to continue. So, Saturday morning, how to build your brand online with Brandi, of course. If I were to start over today trying to build my business, there is a few steps I would take. And I kind of came across this question the other day when I got questions about social media, and I get questions about email lists and just how to set up your business in general. So I said, hey, if I started over, and I literally did this is the piece of scratch paper that I made, but I mean, this is how I start. Like, every idea is brainstorming. So I said, if I started over today, how would I build my business and where would I start? So there's 6 steps that I would take that I feel like are essential for any brand, and you're going to kind of learn through the process. So don't think that you're going to start this and that you're just going to know everything. There's no business manual for building a business, trust me. So without further ado, let's start with step 1. And I'm going to run through these, and I really want you to just put your comments either in the chat and also in the questions, because I'm sure that this is just going to be playing live and y'all will watch this later, as well as I'll be sharing this on my social feed. So please, please, please put your comments in the comment section. If you don't want people to see your comments, you can head over to social media at Bloggin Brandi, and all of that is in the description, as well as I'm going to put this checklist so you have a little cheat sheet in the description, and I can answer all of your questions, but I'm going to hopefully feature you in a future video. So make sure and send me your comments either on social media, put them below, and if you really want to get personal, you can hit me up at Brandi. Oh my gosh, I don't even know my own email. Brandi at blogginbrandi.com, and that's Brandi with an I. So, step 1. I would say to start building your brand online, you need to have your resume and like a personal profile. This can be referred to as many different ways, but essentially the paper resume is dead. So I would start with a website. And your website is going to include your bio. It's going to have tons of information about you. It's going to include things that you've done in the past, where you're going, your passions. Don't think about this as just business. You also want to be fun and relatable to people so that they can be more personal to your brand, like how I'm live streaming right now and trying to connect. And also, it's just more real as what a business is. You're growing, you're learning, and everything's not really perfect. So you're not always going to have those pretty polished videos, and things are not always going to work out. But there are 6 things that you can do to make that happen. But make sure that you include information about yourself, where you're going, what you're doing. Also, which platform to set this up on. I get asked this a lot. I would suggest WordPress. This is my personal favorite. If you have questions about getting set up on WordPress, let me know. This is a pretty universal platform, and I would say there's so many plugins that you can use with it. No matter if you set up on, say, like a Shopify or any other self-built, say, e-commerce type store, you're always going to want to have a place for people to go back to and find you. So setting up a website is my first essential step. Step 2, I would say, is to set up an email list. You need to have a place for people to connect with you, and if they can't connect with you on social media, which can get noisy at times, it's hard for me to sometimes filter out all the spammy messages I get. So I always tell people to email me, and I also always email my followers and subscribers, friends, everyone that subscribes to my email list about when I'm doing things. Like this live event, I probably didn't tell anybody about on this email list, but normally if it's a pre-scheduled video that I'm going to do, and this one I just mistakenly had to do this live because I don't know if you saw all the hurricanes, but loss of power, loss of water, and yeah, so we're doing this live. But hey, we're getting it done, right? So setting up an email list, a place where people can talk to you, communicate with you, and a place where you can communicate with your followers and subscribers, and they know, hey, I know that Brandy's going to let me know what's going on in her email list. I never miss anything in her email list. So, and to get people to sign up for your email list, you have to include an incentive. So, like in this video, I'm telling you that you can join my email list by getting my download cheat sheet, which is in the description below, to get all of these steps and learn how to build your business for yourself, because my business is going to be different. So keep that in mind, that every business is different and everyone else's journey is going to be different. They come from a different place. They're going to run into different obstacles. So there's not one perfect formula, but it is a wonderful journey. So how to create the perfect opt-in to get subscribers, I have that on my Work With Me tab. It's also in the description, but it will walk you through what you should give people, or maybe a good idea for how you can build something for your followers that they'll want to download. It doesn't have to always be a download. It can be something like a mini course or an event that you're doing. It can be anything to get them onto your email list. The whole point is just, hey, give me your email and I'll give you something of value. But you just need a central place for people to go and connect with you, because say they stop using a platform like one of the social media sites or something happens, you always want to own that content. And if you have their email list, it's one thing that people really don't change along with their phone number, but having an essential email list that you can reach back out to is going to be key in getting people to communicate with you and building your brand. So, step 3, how to get others to find you in search. I will tell you, I started out with social media. My name kind of came about I would say as a joke, more like a hater joke, but Bloggin Brandi came about and it just kind of stuck that no one was using it in the form that I was using it in, and I checked the domain, it was available, all my social handles were available, and so it just kind of worked out that way. And now whenever I post things on social media, especially when I use hashtags, which is how I get found in search on social media, but those things are also helping me rank off of social media and building a brand for my following, because say my Twitter account is really active, whenever people search for me in Google search, they'll see Bloggin Brandi's Twitter, because it's one thing that people are searching for a lot more often. So, setting up your social media is essential. You need to set up social media, and you're going to want to figure out what platform is right for you. It's not going to be the same platform for everybody. If you're a more visual person, it might be something like Instagram. If it's more events and business tech, it could be LinkedIn. It can also be Twitter. It depends on how you want to interact with your followers, and when you're just getting started, I would say to make sure and go to one platform, perfect the platform, get really good at it, and then you can venture off to one of the others. Otherwise, you're going to get overwhelmed, and you really just want to make sure that you do a really good job on the first platform and build it properly. Get all your links in there, get your bio, really understand how the platform works, and get a following. And then you can actually use those followers across the other social media platforms as well. So you can say, hey, if you're also on Facebook or also on Instagram, please follow me at this link, or reach out to them and try to cross-follow them. A lot of times, if people have a website, they will share their social media links on their website, and you can cross-promote on there. So that's how I normally will find them. Let me just make sure nobody's asking any questions. Okay, great, because it's Saturday, and I figured nobody is probably on here, so the best time to try something new, right? Okay, so how to get on social media and get set up on social media is the question that I get asked, and I feel is really essential. I'm on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest. Believe it or not, YouTube is actually a social platform, and really one of the only search platforms. The other ones are starting to become more searchable, but I would definitely get on YouTube if you're into video marketing. What else? And branding. Make sure that you're branding yourself as you go. These are all going to be things that you're building. I get it. But use a logo that people can read in a font that people can read, and use it across all your platforms. So if you're using, I say like 3 colors. So I use like a teal color, a black, and white normally. And I used to have a yellow, but I don't know, it just didn't work out. And I also have the colors of marketing, and try to see what invoke people's interest to buy or subscribe. So the colors of marketing will definitely play a role when you're building your font, your logo, your title for yourself, your slogan. Those things all play a role, but you also want them to be uniform across your platform, so when people see it, they say, oh, that's Brandi. I just know her by the look and feel of the design. That I just know that's her. So step 4 is going to be to start positioning yourself and posting your content. And I don't know why this is always kind of a scary thing, and I guess I can't say I don't know why, because I'm scared, of course, to start my live feed. But how to start posting consistent content, I will say to think about, 1, what you want to talk about, and stick to 3 major categories. So for me, I try to stay along the lines of traveling, work, and work for me is also hacking, and life. I kind of am one of those people where I don't like the typical 9 to 5, and I'm all about being your own boss, building your own brand, and doing your own thing, and that you don't have to go to college and have this expensive career that you've created for yourself, or these titles or anything like that. So they actually have all of the stuff that you need in this thing called Google. So I would use that. Google and YouTube will teach you everything you want to know, which is why you're here, right? You're trying to learn something, which is probably how to build your brand online. So, how to start posting consistent content. We just talked about what to talk about, how you're going to communicate it. So there's different ways, and I always say, like, find your format. For me, it's video, and it's just because I feel like video is very visual, and it's like being in person with someone. And it's just a really connective way. So if someone sees you and talks to you like I'm talking to you, you can feel connected with my brand and know that I'm right here along the journey with you. Some people may not be into video. It may be blogging, and it may be a written form, or audio. You may be into podcasts. So you just have to find your format and start using that to your advantage. And also, say you did a video, you can cross promote that. You can take I do this with my blog. So I take my videos, I have them transcribed, and then I use the content in a blog, and it also helps me for SEO ranking. So don't not take those steps that could really help you. And don't think that you only have to do one thing, that you can do all of them if you want, honestly. So, creating consistent content is really the biggest thing. And I have a content calendar that I use. I set it up in Excel, and I kind of pulled bits and pieces from different people's content calendars. I kind of watch people that I have as mentors, and I see what they're using, and then I start to bring in my own content. And I see, I add my social platforms on there, and if you're interested in that, let me know. I can share that with you. I'll definitely start including that. Again, this is questions and answers, and I want you to include your questions in the comments. Shoot me. If you'll look in the description, I have my work with me section. There's a contact box in there. You can also hit me up on email, Brandi@blogginbrandi.com. But I want your questions. Let me know what questions you have. These are how I would get set up, but everybody is different. And I will say these are the 6 essential steps that if you're not doing these, your business is not where it could be. I mean, this whole thing is about building your brand. If you want to build your brand, it's kind of like baking a cake. If you only put bits and pieces of the recipe together and you don't put them all together, your cake may not really taste good. So if you want it to taste good and you want people to really understand your story and connect with you and not just be a business but a brand, and I think of a brand when I say this as a shell. So think of like Bloggin Brandi. Like, who is Bloggin Brandi? You don't know. Or I really think Wendy's does a really good job of this online. Is they're kind of funny back on social media, and it's hilarious that when people kind of communicate with them or share comments, they say funny things back. And I think that really gives personality to the brand. So you may use emojis or not use emojis. It really just depends on the branding and who you are, but you just want to be consistent in creating your content. So I have a content calendar, like I said. Step 5, get your content in front of the right audience and start promoting. So if you're not sure how to do this, I would suggest a few ways, and I'm looking at my notes here because I want to make sure I explain this to you properly. Start promoting, marketing yourself and your content. Of course, social media is free, and why do you not start with free places to market your content? Now, keep in mind that people are not going to social media to look for necessarily your advice, unless you've built your business in that structure. So if you're talking about building your brand, which is why you're here, then you probably haven't done this. So you're trying to build traffic to your brand, build awareness for your brand, and get people talking about you. And social media is the best place to do this. I will say, besides YouTube. The difference with YouTube is that people are actually coming to YouTube and searching for something like how to build your brand online, or how to bake a cake, how to get more leads, how to get more Twitter followers. People are searching for things on YouTube. And what's the quickest way to figure something out? It's probably to watch a video and learn from others. So I say YouTube, and you can also communicate. So if people have questions, you can answer them back. So it's a really just an amazing video marketing platform. It's a place to get found in search, because who owns YouTube? Google. And where do you go to search most of the time? Google, right? I've already mentioned that about finding the things you need to find. Well, that's how you found me. So I would say YouTube is a really great place to start for driving traffic to your brand. And if you're worried about getting started and getting in front of the right audience, this is something that I did, and sometimes I forget, but when you're kind of stuck and maybe you don't know what to start about, and the great place to start is questions, but if you're not sure what to say to your audience, then I would say start curating instead of trying to create, meaning using other people's content. So find someone else's blog or their videos and share it, say, on your social media, and say, hey, like, read it, see what they're talking about. I'm sure it's something. So if you're trying to figure out like how to be better on camera, or like me, I was trying to figure out how to live stream, and I tried to live stream once, like a while ago, on YouTube, and it was a lot different, and I haven't done it again. I usually do it on my social platforms, but I was looking for how to stream on social media. So that's something that I know, not how to stream on social media at the time I did, but I was searching for how to stream on YouTube. And by doing this, I had a video pop up, and I looked at about 3 or 4 videos, and I finally said, man, this can't be that hard. And voila, here we are. We're here live streaming. How about that? So, like I said, curate. So I can share that content that I found and say, hey, if you're trying to figure out how to live stream on YouTube or use an open broadcast software, then I found a great one for you, which is OBS. So I would share that on my social media and let people know this is how I figured it out, because I want to let people know that information, because it's still my target audience. And that's another thing. When you're curating content, make sure that it's your target audience. So it should be within those 3 things I told you to stay in. So like mine is work, travel, and like I said, work and hack is mine, but work, hacking, travel, and life, just about how to do those things non-traditionally and outside of the box. So curate versus create when you're not sure where to start. But the content calendar, like I said, will help with this. So the last step, step 6, this is a part that I feel like most people just don't do, and I think it's the most essential part of it, if you think about it, is analyzing. Why do you not go back and see how your Twitter account's doing, how your Facebook account's doing? And honestly, simply enough, I have sat in front of businesses and I asked them, I said, why did you not go through your sales process? Did you look at your sales process? Did you say, like, hey, if I was a customer, would I want to buy my product? Would I want to buy that product? Would I want to buy you? And if you're selling a service, you're trying to sell your brand as a person usually, and selling something for them to use to benefit them, as well as a product. So if you're trying to sell a product, you're trying to do the same thing, and you want to let them know how can this product benefit them, and leading them to the buy. You have to remember that customers really don't know what they're getting into when they meet you, so you have to teach them and show them what they want, which is your product or your solution. And it may not always be paid in the first option. Sometimes you want to send them to your email list, get them warmed up, and then shoot them to your product, or maybe follow up with them and say, hey, I know you were interested in my how to start up checklist. By the way, I have a book or a mini course or whatever out about how to do this. If you're interested, this might be something to join. Or, hey, I have a webinar going on, this might be something for you. Like I said, you can either warm them up at first. It don't always have to be a direct sale, but you want to see how these things are happening. And so when you're analyzing your business, go through these processes if you're a customer on your social feeds, on your websites, and do it on mobile, on tablet, on desktop. Make sure that you're covering it on all the platforms. Remember that most people are looking at your content on mobile devices, and that is where they're getting it the fastest, because they're normally looking at this stuff when they're at work, when they're on the go, when they're in their car, God forbid. Please don't do that. If you're watching this in your car, please don't do that. But I'm glad you're watching. So those are my 6 steps. I would love to hear your comments, your questions, and who knows, you might be featured in my next video. So let's run through those really quickly. Step 1 is how to set up a website, or set up a website. And this is how to build your brand online. So if you're trying to build your brand online, get your business started, you're maybe not sure where to start, or you are stuck and not sure what the next step is, or you just might be missing a piece. Like I said, if you're baking a cake and you don't have parts of the recipe, here they are. And you need all 6 of them if you want to succeed in branding yourself online. So step number 1, set up a website. Step number 2, set up an email list. I use MailChimp for this. Step number 3, get on social media. Start with one platform and then you can expand. Step number 4 is to start posting. Just put something out there. You can never go back and look at it until you put something out there, so just start. And step 5, get your content in front of the right audience. If you're not sure how to do this, like I said, I would create or curate instead of trying to create so much, and try to stick to a content calendar. Normally that'll go with like the events that you have coming up. And step 6, review the numbers and analyze how you're doing. Out of all of these things, you can go back and see how your website's doing. You can go back and see how your email list is doing. You can go back and analyze how your social media is doing. You can check how your content is doing, and you can check your audience, how your posts are doing, and if you're reaching the target audience that you're trying to reach. And that really comes into your hashtags when you're posting. Unless it's videos like on YouTube, it's going to come down to your tags, your titles, your descriptions, and I have plenty of videos about that, which you can find, like I said, in the description below. Check out the Work With Me tab for all of my resources. And also, without further ado, in this video, I wanted to just give you a quick cheat sheet that you can go through and say, okay, step 1 through 6, these are the 6 steps that I need to start building my business, and if something's missing, this could be one of them. And this is just going to help you brand yourself online. So now you know how to brand yourself online. But starting a business can be a little tricky, so that's why I said I have this cheat sheet and you need to know what to do next. So check it out in the description below, and it's going to help you walk through this process super easy. I'm Brandi of blogginbrandi.com, where you can find tons of free resources to help you brand your business. If you like this video, make sure to hit the like button below and let me know that you understand what's going on here. And I want to hear your comments. Like I said, don't forget to comment in the comment section and let me know your questions. You could be featured in my next video. I'm planning my calendar right now. And if you want to chat and turn your business into a brand, you can also reach me at Brandi@blogginbrandi.com. That's Brandi with an I. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.